I don't know why I wanted to start like this. I thought about doing this for the whole episode, 15 minutes of this. But I won't. Oh, so first thing I'm going to talk about, I don't know if you could say talk about. I just noticed, I went back to see one of my videos, and I noticed that YouTube makes chapters for your videos like automatically, so for some reason, somehow. And I think it's pretty funny. So it's on the episode 2, practice for letting go of needing to sound good. One of the chapters is I made a mistake. It's like 20 seconds. Then one is the music guru. I don't remember. I don't know what it refers to. I have no idea what it means. Climbing benefits. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Calculating. Meditation. Distractions. Entertain. So one chapter is named Entertainment Sugar. That's such a. I might just name this episode Entertainment Sugar, because I don't know. It sounds shit. How do you write entertainment, you dumbass? Entertainment Sugar, and it's followed by pornography, and then I don't know why. I think I see a lot of videos, or I have seen in the past recently a lot of videos where they don't say the word porn, they say prawn instead, as if so. Some words you can't apparently. Some words are discouraged, or you can't really talk about, or you get, I guess, what's the term, shadow banned or whatever. They are discouraged, like the situation that began in March 2020, things of that nature. You're not really allowed to talk about. Okay, the camera is still on. Oh, actually, I didn't put a timer on, so I don't know. I need to put a timer on. I'm very unprofessional, which is a surprise to absolutely nobody. So yeah, words you're not really allowed to use, and apparently porn is one of them, because I see a lot of videos where people say they don't say the word, whatever. So you have entertainment sugar followed by pornography, and then you have sugar, and then you have entertainment, just to drive the point home. And being good enough. Wow, that sounds deep. There's a chapter called Being Good Enough. And it's followed by It Feels Wrong. Okay, then, okay, whatever, I'm not an introvert. It works. Okay, then it's I'm not an introvert. And then it works. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm curious. Then constraints. I have a duty. The second to last chapter is called I have a duty. And then I let go. This is a whole like 3-act structure, character arc going on here. It starts with an intro. It starts with a practice of, that's not good, I guess, a practice of letting go. It's, yeah, the second, after the intro, the second chapter is a practice of letting go. And the final chapter is I let go. Did I do it? Did I succeed? Did I let go? Did I transcend in that episode? I don't remember. I don't think so. Anyways, I wanted to start with that, because entertainment sugar, that's the one that got me coming back. Now that's done, that's the only note I had. Anyways, well, now I have another note, which is entertainment sugar, but I don't know how much content I can get out of these two words. But probably that'll be the title for this episode. Anyways, where was I? So, I'm a bit, what's the word? Distracted by the fact that I don't want my equipment to fail on me. Should be okay. So, today is Sunday. Today, as I'm recording this, it's Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday, and then before that it was Friday, and then before that it was Thursday. Thursday, my brother sent me a message telling me that I needed to take Saturday off from work. So Thursday. I then sent a message that night. Well, actually, he sent me a message, I didn't see it. He told me when I arrived home that he has sent me a message and that I needed to take Saturday off, which was in 2 days. So that night, Thursday night, I sent a message to my manager saying, I need Saturday off. But he just says, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Fine. So I get to work on Friday and I tell him, hey, I need Saturday off. To which he replies, you can get next Saturday off. Because obviously it's very unreasonable to ask for a day off the day before. It's stupid. And he thinks I need a Saturday off. He doesn't know why this Saturday off. Also, he can't imagine why it is such an emergency. I have asked for days off in the past, and I've always been honest. Usually I'll always ask a week in advance because that's the procedure and that's a reasonable way to do it, or even more. And the last time I asked for a day off was a Saturday. I asked for the evening off. Yeah, for UFC 284. So I told him, hey, I need the evening off because it's UFC 284. It's in London, so it will start earlier, so I can't work the evening because I need to watch. And he was like, fuck you, what are you talking about? I was like, no, I'm serious. I'll call in sick if you don't let me take the day off. But I was being not reasonable. I was being honest, right? I was being honest. I had bought a ticket for a concert. I was supposed to go with my family. I had bought my ticket, and I forgot about it. And when the day came, I asked for the day off, and he didn't give it to me. And I was like, it's my fault, so I'll take the hit. It's my fault, so I'll fuck it. And so I missed Ezra Collective. I missed Ezra Collective. Yeah. Anyways, I didn't miss UFC 284, and I didn't miss yesterday, Saturday. So I told him I need a day off. So he's like, why do you need a day? Why is it so important? Just you can have next Saturday off. And so I told him my mother is getting married. Yeah, I learned Thursday that my mother was going to get married Saturday. And indeed she was. So he ended up saying, okay. And I got my Saturday off. Actually, that day I asked him, Friday, was my birthday. So I was like, hey, you can't say no, it's my birthday. Which, obviously it actually bears no weight on the situation. I'm not sure that's the proper way of saying it. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He ended up giving me the day off, and then my colleagues, like, the news spread, so to speak. One of my colleagues came to me, was like, oh, so your whole family is crazy like you. Like, I get why you're weird like that and fucking crazy, because your family is like you. And that's 100% accurate. My mother is, I think the right way to say it is batshit crazy, but in a good way, not, in a good way. So yesterday, my mother got married, and it was, first time I attended a wedding when I was a kid, but I don't really remember much of it. And so we attended her wedding. And then, so we attended the wedding. My sister brought a friend of hers. Her friend didn't have any outfits, so she came here to our home, borrowed an outfit, and they left to go to the wedding. After the wedding, we all went to a restaurant to eat, At some point, my sister's friend, she had to go home, and she had to go to our place first to pick up her belongings. But it just so happens that none of us had taken our keys. We had left the keys inside. First time that happens. Yeah, pretty sure. First time that happens. And so her friend is Muslim, and she had to go home. So it's Ramadan right now. I don't know much about how it works, but she had to go home at a certain time, I guess, to break their fast. So it was kind of an emergency, so to speak. I mean, yeah, kind of. So I took the girls home, and the idea was I'll either climb through a window to get in. That was option number one. I'll try to open the door with a credit card, or I'll have to kick the door in, which we would have needed to get home anyway, so I had to figure it out then. So we arrive. The kitchen's window is closed because we are reasonable people, although that would have been the easiest way to get in. My window is open, this window right here, but it just so happens that it's impossible to climb up there, which was a relief. I had never really, explored the idea of climbing up to my window, but I don't think it's possible. Although so I told my brother, yeah, I can't climb through my window, and then he was like, there's always people with ladders around. Recently they were here just outside my window, actually, and his window, with ladders. So he said, just borrow a ladder, but there was no one here. But yeah, if you have a ladder, you could climb quite easily. I don't carry a ladder. So my brother's window, on the other hand, was closed. Would have been quite easy to climb up through his window, but he always closes his window because he knows it's easy to climb through. And my sister's window was open, but my sister's window would have been maybe not as impossible to climb through as mine, but still quite difficult. And I thought, yeah, I don't really feel like doing that right now. So we went back to the door. I called my mother and I said, so I tried to get the card through, but how do I say this? So, like any door inside of this apartment is like this. Oh, perfect. Wow. Hey. So it's like this. The door is closed, and if you can put the credit card through, you can unlock it from the outside. But our front door, how to explain this? Our front door, you can't just see that area. There's an edge, so the card would have needed to go in and then do a right angle to open. They needed to go like this and like this. So my mother, being an expert, what's the word? Locksmith, whatever. She said, what you do is you put the card in. It's gonna get blocked here, and you kind of push the door. You shake it so that at some point the card will bend, and then you'll be able to push it. It'll bend and then it'll go in. So I tried that. That was quite loud. I thought to myself, I hope people are not thinking, I'm just trying to break into this random apartment. So that didn't work. Our door is shit. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to kick the door in now because one, I'm impatient. What's two? Let's see. One, I'm impatient. Two, I think it's just not going to work, the credit card thing. And three, I've never kicked the door down, so that seems quite exciting. Like it would be fun. But being a reasonable adult male, I thought that would be quite inconvenient if I break the door down, because who knows when they're going to repair it, or it's a headache. It would have been a headache. So I called my mother. I told her I'm going to break the door. I did call her and tell her I'm going to break the door down. I guess I was waiting for just a little bit of resistance to confirm my belief that it was a bad idea. But yeah, I called her. I am going to kick the door down. She said, no, that's a bad idea. Just come back. Fuck it. Because if I kick the door down, then I have to stay. So no wedding party for me. So they were like, fuck it. We were on the phone. My sister was arguing, no, my friend, she needs to go home, blah, blah, blah. My brother was like, fuck it, you come back. And me, I was kind of pushing the door. And then I had the idea, because this door is so just badly conceived and weak and old. So you have the lock here that blocks the door. But you can actually push the door on either side, up and down, especially down. You can actually push it in a bit because it's damaged and it's weak and everything. So I pushed the door down. I pushed the door in at the bottom, and I was able to slip the card, and it did go around. So, and then I lifted the card up, but it got blocked at some point. So I did the same at the top. Put the card in. I pushed the door in a bit, put the card in. It went around, and then I lowered it. Aligned it with the lock. And then Then I asked myself, is the lock aligned with the place where you put the key in? Because some doors, you know what, I'm not even sure that's true, but I thought to myself, some doors, the mechanism isn't made in such a way that the place where you put the key in is not aligned with the place where the actual mechanism blocks the door. So if I keep pushing this way, I'm just going to lose the card and I'm not going to unlock anything. So I'm pushing, and I'm pushing the card in, and I'm getting to a point where I know I won't be able to take it back or do anything if I keep pushing. And my mom's on the phone. She's like, all right, just fuck it, come back. We'll figure this out later. Which, that was also a bad idea, because later we were all fucked up because we were partying. So we wouldn't have figured anything out that night. And I like sleeping here in my bed. So thankfully, just in that moment, as I'm pushing the card in thinking, this is make or break, poof, the door opens. And so now I've unlocked expert locksmith trophy or whatever, in video games. I've broken into my own home. I have done it a few times in the other. Actually, I'm trying to think. No, I've only broken into another place where we lived before. It's just the second time. Yeah. We have a tendency to lock ourselves out. And so, mission accomplished, we got in. I go into my bed to lay down as the girls are getting changed. And then someone rings the bell, the bell to the apartment. So we go to the communications thing, whatever it's called, the phone. This thing has a name, doesn't it? I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Hello, who's this? No answer. We just hear the door opening downstairs. Okay, everyone goes back to their business. Then like 10 minutes later, someone rings again. Me, I'm paranoid. I'm always paranoid. And I've always been paranoid. And it is paranoia, but I have I have just a lot of imagination. I'm a creative person. I have a lot of imagination. And so immediately I'm spinning all kinds of ideas in my head. So, okay, someone rings the bell. My sister goes to answer. She doesn't hear anything. So it's like, that's weird. That happens all the time. Every day. But today we just showed how easy it is to break into this place. And 2, it happened twice in 10 minutes. Which that doesn't normally happen. Because we had to ring a neighbor's door because we didn't have the keys just to get into the building. So that happens. But why would 2 different persons ring us? That's a pretty arbitrary number. And then, later on, someone knocks at the door. So my sister goes, look, I tell her, don't open the fucking door. You know, I'm in full paranoid mode. Don't open the door. She just looks through the peephole, no one. And then, not and then. Therefore, I get more paranoid, and she tells me that her friend heard someone knock as well. But there's no one. So I go to the door, I look through the peephole. My heart is beating so fast, like I can hear it, do-do, 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 do-do. And I look, like I'm trying to push my eye through the peephole, you know, try to go through it. I look, there's no one, I can't see. Like, I'm imagining that there's someone just next to the door waiting. They saw us get in, but they're wondering if we're still here. That's why they rang downstairs, and that's why they're knocking now, which it makes no sense because we replied downstairs. So they would know, but they were able to go in before, without us opening the door. So the idea is they rang, someone opened the door for them, so they went in, and so they weren't able to confirm whether someone was here. Obviously, I'm not thinking very logically at that time. I'm just waiting for shit to pop off. So I'm looking, and I'm thinking, there's someone probably at the end of the corridor just waiting to see if. Just waiting. I remember when I was a kid, when we lived in Sutton. We lived in Morden, sorry. The first place we lived in the UK. South. At the end of the line. End of the northern line. In Morden, and I remember having this dream that I opened the door in the morning one day. And probably everyone is sleeping, I think. It's early in the morning. I open the door and this guy is running towards the door. Running towards me from, I don't know, he's 10 meters away. Just running. That's what I remember. I think I closed the door. Then I closed the door. I used to have a lot of weird nightmares of people trying to get into our house or things of that nature. Anyways, that's flashbacks. That's all coming back to me. All this energy and these ideas are in my mind at that time. I mean, yesterday. So I'm thinking, do not open the door because they're waiting. So fucking paranoid. So stupid. And as I'm pushing my eye into the people, really trying to see as far as the people will allow me, I see on the doormat that there's a package. Because that's how people deliver packages. They throw it on the doormat, knock on the door, and they fucking run away for some reason. Always when I open the door, I see a package and I see someone just disappearing in the distance, turning the corner. I mean, I guess they're trying to be efficient. But anyways, there's a package on the ground. So I just looked through the people for a solid 1 minute, waiting for like someone to appear and how do I say this? Someone to appear and be like, doop-de-doo, I guess no one's here. I'm gonna slip my credit card in here and serve myself. So there's a package, false alarm. Shit, so many false alarms. The word false alarm is something that goes through my mind all the time. Like this current story that I just said, right? That's just every day. It's every day, bro. False alarms, just imagining things, seeing things that are not there. But the thing with signs, the idea of a sign, right? Some people believe them, some people don't. But it's paradoxical in the sense that a sign is a sign if you accept it as a sign, or if you decide that it's a sign. So, how do I explain this? Oh, I need to stretch my leg. Yo. So I believe in signs. I believe that things happen and they steer you in a certain direction. And I believe that if you're paying attention to the world around you, there are signs, if that makes sense. But if you don't believe in signs, then signs don't exist. Because if, I don't believe in God, but if it's something, the universe, right, easy. If the universe sends a sign to you and you don't believe in signs, then you won't see a sign, and therefore it'll be just like it didn't happen. But if you're someone who believes in signs, then even things that are not signs, you might misinterpret them. But at the end of the day, if you are able to be successful in your life and happy, and you think back to these signs, you'll think to yourself, well, these were signs and I was smart to pay attention to them. When in fact, are they signs? Are they not? Or is it just your perception of the world? You are steering your own life, whatever. This makes no sense. Where was I? Good question. Well, I lose the plot all the time. I see signs, I make stories, I believe in things that are not true, and I lose the plot all the time. So to continue with that story, so eventually we had to leave. I was quite uneasy at the idea of leaving because if someone had seen us and decided to go in, it would have been quite easy. Someone came a few months ago to check the door, and he said, "Oh, this door is condemned." Like, he filled in some form on his phone. I guess he's the door master. He filled in a form saying this door in this apartment needs to be changed because it's unsafe and blah blah blah. Well, the door is still here, but it would be nice if they replaced it. Yeah. So after that, the girls left to go to my sister's friend's house, and I went back to join the party. And not much really exciting happened. They had cocktails. It was an open bar, so I made it my mission to drink every cocktail on the menu. But halfway through at 6, they told us we had to pay for them now. So I only got to 7 because I'm cheap. So yeah, met my mother's husband's family. I met my mother's husband's family. I met my stepfather's family. We met them. And then we partied, and I ended up smoking a cigar at some point in the night, and then I puked. And we went home, my brother and I. A wedding. There was a wedding yesterday. My mother got married. My mother is now someone's wife, and she now has a husband. I have a poem for this week. I'll recite it. The poem is called... Good question. What is it called? Pretty sure it's called Horreur. I'm not pretty sure, but maybe it's called Horreur Bizarre. That's not a good title. Horreur Bizarre. That's not the title. It's something like that. Horreur Sympathique. Well, there you go. That's why I'm not a poet. Horreur Sympathique by, you guessed it, Charles Baudelaire. So, yeah. De ce ciel, bizarre et livide, tourmenté comme ton destin, quelles pensées dans ton âme vide descendent, réponds, libertin. Insatiablement avide de l'obscur et de l'incertain, je ne gênerai pas comme au vide, chassés du paradis latin. Cieux déchirés comme des grèves, en vous se mire mon orgueil, vos vastes nuages en deuil sont les corbillards de mes rêves, et vos lueurs sont les reflets de l'enfer où mon cœur se plaît. I like that one too. It's nice. Recently I've been in a situation that I will compare to if you buy video games in a grocery store, like those big grocery stores here, Asda, Tesco, they, unlike in video game stores where you have the boxes, empty boxes everywhere, in supermarkets, they have the actual video game in the box, but that box is inside of another box, right? A big plastic box. So that situation, the idea of having something like that, having that video game in a box inside of a box. So you have the game, but you can't play it, right? Now that's stupid. Obviously, you could try to break the box that is impeding you, the box, that's getting in the way to access the video game. You could, but imagine you can't, or imagine it would take a lot of effort. It would be very difficult. Imagine you simply can't. Imagine it's pointless. So why would you actually hold on to it, right? You shouldn't. It makes no sense. You have, even if it seems like it would be the best video game in the world, maybe, of all time. Okay, now it gets a bit more difficult. But if you know that you can't access it, that box is unbreakable, then the only reasonable thing to do is say, fuck it, just toss it away, move on. There's plenty of video games out there, plenty you can probably access, right? But that video game that you can't access, firstly, there's the fact that it's inaccessible, that makes you covet it even more. I like the word covet, it's a cool word, right? It makes you want it even more. One. And two, you have this feeling that, man, that video game is a good video game. That game is made for me, something like that, right? But you're not certain, actually. What's the certainty? What's the word? What's that quote or whatever, that idea? Certainty makes people crazy or something. Certainty leads to insanity. So you're not certain that you can never access it, but it feels like, it feels very unlikely that you can. And it's taken a lot of time and energy. It's taken a toll on you, just keeping it, thinking, wishing, hoping you could access it when you can't. So the only reasonable thing to do is to just toss it away and move on. The reasonable thing to do is to let go and move on. So I'm trying to do that. I am doing that, That video game, there's plenty of other video games out there. That particular one it's been fun to hold it, but if I can't ever play it, then fuck it. This is a very weird little, I think there's a word I really like, I don't know if it's the right word. Actually, there's a few words I'm thinking about right now. Dutch. The first one bits of verbal attacking. Well, this is not a diatribe. Actually, there is a word I have in mind, but it's not that either. Well, yeah, this is a weird tirade. That's the word I was looking for. This is a very strange tirade. I just, shed with you here. Very strange. So last week's episode, I sped it up ×2. I don't think that was a good idea. I don't think that worked out. I thought, since you have the function on YouTube to speed up and slow down, I thought it was a great idea, because the videos, if I make a 50-minute video, it's going to show up as a 25-minute video, right? Everyone knows short content is what people are after. That's one thing. 2, if you have a bad internet connection, you slow it down to 50%, the video. It will play normally, but how do I say this? If your internet connection is bad, what the fuck? How do I say this? If your internet connection is bad, it's gonna seem twice as fast, your internet connection, because you slow the video down twice. It's not gonna buffer or anything, right? Because you're slowing it down twice. So I thought, man, that's so clever, because I've had really bad internet connections where you have to drop the quality, very low. Well, here, instead of dropping the quality, you actually slow the video down to 50%, and boom, no more buffering. So that's 2. 3, I don't know what the third one is. But that seemed like, these 2 points made me think it was a really good idea. But then I uploaded it and I slowed it down 50%, and it sounds very strange. So it doesn't work. And it seems I might be in the minority in terms of people watching content sped up, or very sped up. Perhaps. We'll see. If I could figure out a way to make, I don't know if it's possible, but to make it so that when you slow it down, but I mean, actually it's so stupid, because obviously if you slow the video down, I would have needed to upload it in, yeah, of course, you upload it in twice the speed, and in 48 frames per second. Jesus, I'm so stupid, because if you slow down the footage on YouTube, it's now 12. If you slow it down 50%, it's now 12 frames per second. That's why it looks odd. But then for the sound, I don't know how I could make it so that the sound doesn't sound, so that the sound doesn't come off strange when you slow it down. I didn't even think about that. It's the frame rate is all fucked up, because so I need to record it. But I'm pretty sure the sound is fucked up as well. But actually, I'm not certain. Let's see.
As far back as I can remember,
Oh yeah.
I've
Shut
always
up.
wanted to be a savage.
Okay, but the sound is strange.
I've had this line in my head.
Yeah. The thing is, sound is more important than visuals. So I've figured out the visuals problem is the frame rate, but the sound, I have no clue. So yeah, that idea, I won't do it again, because it doesn't work yet. It doesn't work at the moment. Looks like I've hit a wall. I am hungry. I'm hungry. Pretty sure all we have is eggs and pastries. And some chocolate. So yeah, I guess I'm finished. I really need to fucking structure this and get actual things to say, because I've really got past the discomfort. It's so weird. Because it seems so fucking just impossible. And now I really don't give a fuck. I can talk to this camera all day. But I need to get talking points or whatever. I need to make it more structured. It's weird, because the main reason for doing this is the actual just speaking for around 50 minutes straight. And the public speaking aspect of it, even though it's much easier than public speaking, the actual doing it is the most important thing. So I could just keep doing these episodes in that way, just unstructured, because I still get something out of it. But I'm not going to do that. I need to structure them more and make them better. Where was I going with this? Shit. Where was I going with this? So yeah, so what the fuck do I talk about? So, like, just talking about my week. That's something that I've done every week so far. Not much exciting happening. I need to get a more exciting life. I need to make it more exciting. That would make this podcast much easier to do. I can talk about my work, what I'm working on, which I've done in the past, I think, as well. I'm writing again. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to be a writer-director. And I haven't worked on my scripts for a really long time. And I used to just every day, at least an hour, write. But you have to. What's his name? Stephen King. I mean, Stephen King said it, but, it's very obvious. You have to write and read every day if you want to become a writer. Haven't done so in weeks. I don't read enough as well. But anyways, I'm going to make a practice of doing that every day now. I have this script. It's called Echoes. You know what? It's going to be a good movie. I know it. Echoes. Yeah, I'll talk about it maybe next week. Because I have to kind of select. Should I talk about this? Should I talk about that? But yeah, trying to explain this script, for example, would be good. Because I would actually learn about my own ideas. And all creatives have this paranoia, I think, to a degree, some more than others, that people will steal your ideas. So that would be a good reason to not share. And obviously there's a lot of ego, I guess, attached to it because, so you think your idea is worth stealing. And we all know that ideas are worth nothing. It's execution and blah, blah, blah. And most likely your idea is shit. Because everyone thinks they have good ideas. Millions and millions of people in history have thought, I have such a good idea. Anyways, I think I will still share it because fuck it. I don't know who. I'm quoting someone else. I think it's, what's his name? Taxi driver. Schrader? What's his name? Schrader? I should know his name. Come on, Abraham. Yeah, I was thinking it's Paul Schrader. Paul Schrader. Schrader, like the villain in Ninja Turtles. Or Shredder. Paul Schrader said, he said, if you can talk about your movie idea for, I think for half an hour to 45 minutes, like explain the whole plot in half an hour to 45 minutes, I think he said something like that, then you have a movie. That's a long time to be speaking about an idea and to be describing a movie. So I guess I'll attempt that next week. See if I've got something. And that way, that will encourage me to work on it now because I haven't worked on it in a while. And finally, Alex Hormozy. His videos keep popping up. And like on my feed. And what's the latest one I really liked? Shit. It's one with the guy. I don't know what's his name. His name is. Let's just say no. It's not that one. Ay, ay, ay. Jesus, there's a child screaming somewhere. It's an interview or podcast, whatever you want to call it, with the guy. I'm gonna sneeze. with the only way I can describe the guy who interviews him is that he's the guy who endorses Crafted. They make jewelry, shit jewelry. He kept popping up as well, interviewing, I don't know, like all the other guys, or talking with Dr. Huberman and other people. So I was like, for some reason I decided to think, oh, this guy must be reliable. And then I saw he was endorsing Crafted, and I was like, oh, I would like to actually buy a ring. I'm curious what it feels like to wear a ring, because my brother recently started wearing rings. So I thought, I'll buy a ring. And I bought this ring, and it used to look like gold, and now it looks like just copper. It wasn't very expensive, but now to me, he's the guy who endorses shit jewelry. Cheap shit jewelry. And anyways, he has this video with Alex Hormozi. And in that video was the thing that there was a... Oh, I took a screenshot because I'm so clever. I took a screenshot of the line. The fuck? Recently, my brother and I were watching... My God, I'm basically... You can't see me on the screen. We're watching horror films. He never watched horror films before because he is a coward. But we decided to watch horror films together. Anyways, all this to say that... Jesus Christ, that fucking scared me. Fucking hell. All this to say that hearing this child screaming downstairs is giving me flashbacks to the horror film we watched yesterday, because I am also a coward. We watched 65. I need to stop speaking because we can't see me right now. I need to just find the thing that I'm looking for. The quotes. So, there's a few quotes. Okay, that's one quote. Well, it turns out there's only one quote. Okay, go back to the white screen. The quote was, "Loneliness is a kind of tax we have to pay to atone for a certain complexity of mind." I'd like to start by saying that it's a shit quote. It doesn't sound clever. It sounds convoluted, and it doesn't sound like a quote that will last, you know. I don't know. Reasonable people adapt themselves to the world. Unreasonable ones persist in trying to adapt the world to themselves. Therefore, all progress depends on unreasonable people. That's a good quote. I like that one. The other quote that I just quoted, I like the idea of it. I don't like the way it's worded and structured. And so the first word is loneliness. Loneliness is a kind of tax. So that's by the guy who's interviewing Alex Hormozi, the cheap jewelry guy. Loneliness is a kind of tax we have to pay to atone. Right? That's a strong word. To atone for certain complexity of mind. And obviously, so first of all, I think loneliness is not the right word. People use loneliness a lot. Lonely people are dangerous. I don't like lonely people. They scare me. Because if you're lonely, it's not because you're alone. Solitude and loneliness are not the same thing. Loneliness has nothing to do with solitude. You're not lonely because you're alone. You can be lonely when you're around people, right? So we all know that. Loneliness is not about being alone. It's about being in bad company. So if you're lonely with other people, it's because they are bad company. It doesn't mean they're... By the way, this is me. This is my opinion. And, you know, I'm 24. I've been 24 for 2 days. So, you know, don't take it with a grain of salt. Just don't take it at all. But anyways, so you can be lonely when you're with people because you're in bad company. So bad company meaning just people you're not compatible with, right? But so you can be lonely around people and you can be lonely by yourself. But if you're lonely by yourself, it's not because you're alone. It's because you are bad company. You're bad company to yourself. That's what I believe. I am alone a lot. And I've been lonely before. Definitely. Lonely, depressed, you know, and these go hand in hand. I wouldn't say very happy, that's weird. But at the moment I feel quite happy. I don't feel lonely. I enjoy my own company. And I spend a lot of time by myself throughout my life. Times where I was lonely, as I said, because I didn't enjoy my own company. But at the moment I do. And I see very clearly that I can detect lonely people quite easily, I feel. And so the kind of, if you see someone is lonely, it's like the idea is that it's because they're alone. Usually that's kind of how people take that, right? The solution then is to go towards them, and which it is to a degree, because you can maybe help them not just with your presence, because that's not the solution, but help them be, what's the word? Not be better. Help them fix whatever is creating this internal kind of turmoil. Oof, I use the word turmoil in a sentence. Right? If you can be a good friend to them, maybe then they can improve their state and not hate themselves, because that's kind of the problem. But me, I'm selfish, I guess, because I don't want lonely people anywhere around me. I don't want to, have someone depending on me that way. They're just dangerous, lonely people. This sounds so weird, because I used to be lonely and I'm not now. I don't know how. Well, yeah, it just took a lot of time working on myself, because that's the solution, right? The solution is to just work on yourself so that you can be someone worth spending time with. I don't know why I went on this tangent about loneliness. Oh, because of the quote. So yeah, the quote is that loneliness. So the quote shouldn't be loneliness, first of all. It should be solitude. That yes, but also the idea, so solitude is a tax you have to pay to atone for a certain complexity of mind, which not complexity is quite, kind of, I don't know, arrogant in a way. It's not, complexity is not the word. It's more like a certain uniqueness, just uniqueness instead of, maybe. I mean, the guy who says that is probably way smarter than me, but whatever. He recommends bad jewelry, so fuck him. I'm joking. But he does recommend bad shit jewelry. But this idea of complexity of mind, like, no, it's not complexity of mind. It's just some people are compatible with less people. They're more different. They're more weird than other people. So, but I think, so some people, they just are more compatible with more people, and so they find themselves less alone. But so loneliness is not the price. I think it's more solitude. I don't think you're atoning for complexity of mind. It's just for being different. But when I first heard it, I liked the quotes because one thing that they're talking about in that podcast is, I suppose, sacrifices and things, as I had mentioned earlier, Alex Hormozy talking about saying no. So that's what they're talking about. And it is true that, so he talks about it really in extreme terms, just saying no to so many things that are seen as just vital to one's life, social life, things of that nature. And Alex really talks about how you have to say no to these things to focus on yourself. My God, that child is screaming again. Anyways, loneliness is a kind of tax you have to pay to atone for a certain complexity of mind. So solitude is a byproduct of, what's the word? There is a word. I'm sure there's a nice word that would fit perfectly at the end of that sentence. Solitude is a byproduct of is one byproduct of to be continued. I think this has gone on way too long, so my camera is still recording. Mike, who knows? Did he